What's out there? Welcome to my channel and welcome to Lemon Mixed Farm. Today I'm in the Flux house. I'm here with you to discuss how I did my own debeaking and with the available resources that I used. There are so many farmers out there, I'm sure the new farmers who have not yet done their debeaking and they would want to do their debeaking, and this is the right place for you because there are so many methods that you can use in doing debeaking. But let's get started. So let me get by introducing what debeaking is. Debeaking is just the cutting of the lips of the chicken. I mean the mouth of the chicken in the layman's language. Then the methods that mostly that people use, there's cold method and there's hot method. Hot method is where we use steams objects to cut off the beak of the chicken. Meanwhile, cold method is where we use sharp objects which are cold to cut off their lips. And when we talk of the hot methods, we have machines. They are machines which are specifically used for cutting off. It is just specifically designed for them. It's used for cutting the chicken beak. Then we also have fire, that we insert hot sharp objects in, then we cut the chicken beak with it. Then the cold method, it's where we use cold sharp objects. Let me give an example, like nail cutters, like there's some cutter, big cutter itself. We also have them that people also tend to use for cutting the beak of the chicken. So all in all, there are so many varieties. You can decide to use the hot method or you can decide to use the cold method. In the state of the hot method, there are other farmers who are out there and they cannot access using machines. Maybe they can't buy it, that's one, because they are yet starting, or even if they can buy, it's not yet available. Then in the part of the hot, there is also where you use fire. Me, for my case, let me give an example. Like for my case, I mostly debeak my chicken using hot method, but I use fire and I fix it with a knife. So what I do is I get a knife, a new knife. I use mostly this local knife because its end is a bit wooden. So I use that hot knife, which is sharp. Then I use it for cutting the beak. Most times I do my debeaking in that way. I'm using it because one, it is cheaply available. Secondly, it is accessible. It's accessible and it's effective for my case. Then with the case of the machine, in case you cannot access it, at least with the knife you can access it. Then with the case of cold method, the cold method where you use the cutter, we use it directly. Then at the same time you can also use the nail cutters. These cutters for the nails can also be used for cutting the chicken beak. But there are also disadvantages and advantages of all these methods. For the case of the hot method, the obvious disadvantage that we find in all of them, I would say, is the pain that the chicken go through. That is an obvious disadvantage of debeaking, I would say. Because even if you use the cold method or the hot method, it all gets in with pain. But I preferred the hot method just because I think it's a bit more convenient. Much as I remember I ever used the cold method, I used cutters for cutting the chicken beak, but in the process the chicken were bleeding a lot. So that is one disadvantage of the cold method. Meanwhile, with the hot method, you find that once you use the hot thing to cut the chicken beak, the chicken beak tends to close up that tendency of the bleeding, so there will be no bleeding. If it is cut well, you will not find that the chicken will be bleeding, compared to when you do it with the cutter and you find there's blood all over the places. Then too, The tendency of the beak, the wound that is created within the beak, is not more exposed with the heat compared to with the hot object compared to the cold method. With the cold method, of course, you cut it and the place which is bleeding is still left open. Then thirdly, you find the rate of infection affecting them will be more prominent compared to the type with the hot method. So it is best, you would choose which one is the best, but with the type of the cold type, it is very easy because you just hold the chicken, you cut, tap, you hold the chicken, you cut, tap. But with the case of the hot method, you have to first adjust, you put it down, you see where you can cut, especially with the issue of the knife, not the machine. So that is their differences. Now it's up to you, the farmers, whether to use cold method or use hot method, and you choose which one is the best for you to use. So thank you so much for listening, and please, if you have not yet subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Comment in the comment zone. I will always be there to answer the comments, and please, where you find there's room for improvement, it's all welcome. Thank you so much, and the best of your time.